Team USA bounces back against Italy as they win the quarterfinal matchup of the FIBA World Cup 100-63 in a game that was never close. Italy just could not hit a shot in this game, and the US finally had a game where they just absolutely dominated and hit outside shots. And it did start a little slow. Again, that starting group just like could not hit an outside shot. Anthony Edwards was struggling from outside. Nobody could hit outside of the paint. But it didn't matter because Italy couldn't hit from outside either. I mean, it was a rough game to watch from an Italian standpoint. They just couldn't hit wide open shots to save their lives. And then the US bench came in, and that's when they just started raining threes. And it was Mikal Bridges taking over. He had 24 points. He went 4 for 6 from 3 and 8 for 11 on the game. He started out the game just getting to the rim to kind of get himself going. Then, he knocked down an open three, and then you could see he started feeling himself and being super aggressive, taking some contested shots, and he just couldn't miss. This was just an extremely good matchup for the US because Italy is a perimeter based team. They just have no big men. Like Nico Melli is their center. Like he was going up against Jaren. That's never going to work. You could see Lithuania and Montenegro kind of laid the blueprint on how to beat the US, and it's throughout rebounding them. And Italy's just not built to do that. And so when they also couldn't hit outside shots, I mean, this was just an absolute blowout. The US also made a few adjustments. They started trapping from like 3/4 court, I think, and they were doing that in the first half. They also doubled when there was a mismatch in the post, which is something that we hadn't seen them do before. And the rebounding was better, but I mean, I don't know if you can really take anything away from that because, like I said, Italy's just not built to rebound. But Josh Hart was great on the offensive boards. The whole team was good. Offensive rebounding as well. And Halliburton was great. He had 18 points, all of them coming from the 3 point line, 6 for 8 from three for him. And then, he chips in his classic 5 assists and was just doing a great job of running the offense like he usually does. This was just a really balanced attack from the US. Mikal Bridges and Halliburton were the ones leading it, and then pretty much everyone else chipped in. And the only guy that didn't score was Cam Johnson, who had a horrible game. 11 of the players on the US had good games, and then there's just Cam Johnson, who missed 2 free throws, missed every single shot, couldn't catch the ball. I mean, the amount of times that he just couldn't catch the ball off easy passes was insane. I don't know what was going on with him today, but it was really bad. It obviously didn't matter at all, and he really only played garbage time, which was something that is kind of disappointing because I expected more from him in this World Cup because he was really good in the exhibition games, but he just hasn't added that same production in the World Cup so far. And I don't think he will get much of a chance because even in garbage time, it's like if he can't produce then he's probably not going to get a shot in these last couple of games in this World Cup. In the third quarter, the US just started having way too much fun. Like, especially at the end of it, the whole bench was just jumping around, and you have Halliburton going through his legs to throw it up to Paolo for the oop. And that's when it just got embarrassing for Italy. You had the Reeves put back dunk at one point. Anthony Edwards decided to start to hit from three at the very start of the third. You had Mikal Bridges doing his celebration after a three at the Italian bench and got a technical for it. Paolo and Ant got huge blocks, and you never forget a Paolo or Ant block. Those are always highlight blocks. And then Brandon Ingram, I feel like had a solid game, made a few shots, had 8 points, didn't force anything. So that was good to see for him. And then the one real negative, other than, well, I guess Cam Johnson, was Jaren picking up two fouls within like 2 minutes of the start of this game. I mean, it's insane. He can't not foul. One of them was like him biting too hard on a pump fake and then slapping a guy on the arm. And then the other one, I think, was an offensive foul. I mean, it's insane that he just cannot stop himself from picking up all these early fouls. But to his credit, he didn't pick up any more, but he also didn't really have to because the game, by the time he checked back in, the game was pretty much over. So Paolo got a lot of early run, and you had the Paolo versus Italy rivalry where Italy thought Paolo was going to play for their national team and he chose to play for the US instead. And there's the "he fooled us" quote. And then you had reporters before the game or yesterday asking him if he like had any words for the Italian fans, and he just said no. This was just classic USA getting hot and demolishing the other team. They now move on to play against the winner of Germany versus Latvia. Germany, obviously the favorites in that one. Germany gave the US a tough time in the exhibition games, but the US was able to pull out that win. And so if it is Germany, hopefully we can replicate that result. I think it'll be interesting if the US goes up against bigger teams like Lithuania, although Lithuania is knocked out of the tournament by Serbia, so we won't be seeing Lithuania. But other bigger teams, I wonder if we still will see Josh Hart starting, or if we might go with someone bigger like a Paolo or a Bobby Portis from the start. It's also interesting. I assume we're not going to make any other changes to the starting lineup, but I mean, Halliburton has been great throughout most of this tournament, and better than Brunson. Although, Brunson's been good, which is why I don't think we'll see a change. But Halliburton's just been better, and he played more minutes in this one. And Halliburton's just better at pushing the pace and getting guys open, I think. Whereas Brunson is better at finding his own shot, but Halliburton's the better 3-point shooter and is more of a threat from there. So maybe Steve Kerr just likes Halliburton with that bench unit. And I definitely do. I like him out there with Paolo a lot. I've talked about that before. That duo is great, and we saw another highlight from them together in transition. And so maybe it's, Ant can more do his thing with the starting unit with Brunson, and then Halliburton gets to more run the show off the bench. And I mean, I think that's working pretty well because the bench has been great for the US. But maybe you want the starter production to be a little bit better than it has been, especially early on in games. I mean, the US has had a lot of slow starts, and this one was no exception. It's just their defense was pretty good in Italy. It couldn't hit a shot, so they were still ahead by a considerable amount despite not playing their best. But anyways, that is it for this one. Not too much to talk about as this one was over pretty quickly. But I will see you guys in the next one to recap the semifinal game. Peace.